Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're glad to have you here. We have started Plant 2022 here on O'Neill Family Farms, and I was hoping to get a video out sooner than last week, but last week was just not very nice to get to video. Whenever I'd bring my little camera, it's just I'd get out of the cab and I couldn't even hear myself think. The wind was so bad, and so let alone being able to film it. Plus there's some other things that are kind of prohibit me from filming a little bit. I'll hopefully be able to tell you here in later videos coming up, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, no, we've started. We actually got through quite a bit of the beans last week. We were able to pop quite a few of those in. It's hard. We no-tilled a lot of them on the pivots that we ran around. Now we're starting in on the corn. It's a kind of a struggle, to be honest. We've been trying to figure out what the best way to do. On the pivots we've ran, I no-tilled one the other day. I got my planter all set and zeroed in. It did pretty good. It's just that when I started in on the second pivot, we brought out the strip tiller to look at how it looks going right ahead of the planter, and that looks a little better. It just makes a little bit more of a consistent seed bed, because even where we've ran the pivots, there's still like a crust underneath the ground. It's really made it interesting. Look here. Not even a road sign can survive the wind we've had. But anyway, just running that strip tiller with the Vertistrip Hawkins one, it just mellows it out a little bit more, makes the seed bed a little bit more consistent, so we feel better about that. So we're gonna try doing some more of that today and seeing how that goes. Yeah, Plant 22 is in swing here. It's just been a weird, interesting weather. We were like 90 degrees on Friday, and now we're back down to, well, we got to 37 here now. So we're running pivots, and we are getting our pre-emerge on with the sprayer, that's been the challenge because it's been so windy. And I'm talking a lot here, so let's move on to the next thing here, folks. Welcome. Oh, there you are. So I thought just before we start the season, I'd go over kind of what the basics of a planter and what it is and kind of how ours is set up. One of the things I mentioned in earlier videos is ours are a little bit different than probably what you're used to seeing on a lot of the YouTube channels. Out here in Nebraska, a lot of these planters are mounted or integral planters. I get asked this a lot of the times when I show our planters, but a lot of them ask why that is. Well, a lot of us went to strip till or no-till out here, and when you make the strips with a mounted machine, like a Orthman one tripper or a Hawkins Vertistrip like we had on the last videos, it's easier when you've pulled a mounted strip tiller to follow it with a mounted planter. Also, a big reason why, even before that, is why a lot of our planters are mounted out here is we have back in the day, a lot of it was gravity irrigated. That's where we lay the pipe out at the end of the field, and water runs down rows where we have to irrigate it that way. And so when you come to the end of that field, you kind of got to be able to pull right up to the road. And so this shorter coupling makes it so you're not wasting as much space easily. You can do it with the pull type planter, it's just really hard to. And these are a lot more maneuverable. And so we just really like these setups. We did have a pull type years ago before we went to these high speeds. My brother ran a 24 row pull type, and he usually used that on our pivots and stuff, where I would do more of the gravity with a 12 row mounted with boxes. And that leads me to the next thing. A lot of the conventional planters will have boxes that store the seed on top of each unit, where now this is kind of I wouldn't say new thing, but it's becoming more popular, is a central fill system, and that's where you put all your corn in the one box, and then it distributes it with the blower to each individual row. That way when we go to load it up with one of those bulk seed tenders, it's a lot simpler. That's kind of why we use it. Also, to go around, these are high-speed planter units, if you've heard that lately. Standard planting, you went about 4 to 5 mile an hour. Where these you can go up to 10 mile an hour. And the way that is done is inside of here is a brush system. The old planters would drop it down just a regular tube that would fall clear down and it would drop into there. What allows these to become high speed is this meter will drop it in this brush right here and it'll sit right in there. And it carries that seed down the trench at a more controlled rate, allowing you to go faster and still keep your accuracy way up. That's, if you're new to farming, that's something that is probably that came onto the stage here in the past 5 years. I don't know exactly when they got to it, but I'm sorry. So, kind of start to finish, how this planter works, we fill this with corn or soybeans, is what we farm. These tubes will bring it out to this individual row. It'll come down here, go into this. This hose right here is a vacuum, which there's fans, vacuums up there that go through the bar, and that creates each individual row suction. But to get to what it does is this comes off, this creates a vacuum in the seed deal here. And then seeds go inside here, inside this bowl. It's off. And so, yeah, it comes down in here, and these will pick them up, the seeds up. This bowl will singulate each seed. The suction will go through these slots here, grabbing the seed. I'm trying to point and hold it, everything. And then it works its way around, and then it drops it off into this brush, which carries it down. This makes sure it's cleaning out any singles or skips or leftovers. Drops down here, put this back, and it drops it into the seed trench. Up in there you can see that brush will drop it off here. Now what controls the depth of your seed is this lever right here. As you can see, this lever controls this silver piece in here, so you control your seed depth. Well, these arms will come up here, and that's what controls your seed depth. These are called gauge wheels, and they'll go up. Say you want 2 inches. True V makes a trench. It'll V out and then drop your seed in that trench. And then these guys will come along and hopefully seal up your seed trench and close that trench, allowing good to seed soil contact. That's the main goal, is seed to soil contact. That's what we want. Something that's an important piece of a planter is your downforce, on keeping that correct amount of downforce on these. In our no-till conditions, that's even more important, and that's why we use the hydraulic downforce system. This is a hydraulic system that forces this unit down. This will kind of be somewhat level when these are in the field. And you want to apply the correct amount of downforce. You don't want to apply too much, or you compact and smear your seed in the ground. And if you apply too little, you're not going to get the correct seed depth. That's one of the biggest things I've noticed with this, is the automated downforce is just a lot more control of your seed depth. When you start going through it, it's consistent, especially in a no-till or even strip-till, any condition really. And so downforce and singulation of the seed is kind of the things that farmers really look for. Another thing that's important in our no-till, and well, any operation, we'll look at different types of row cleaners. These are the ones we went with on this planter. They're air adjusted. They go up and down from the cab. Our last planters had those. They were clean sweeps from Precision. These are kind of a Yetter system, I believe, but they come as a factory option. And it's all integrated in the armrest display on the cab, so that's a nice feature. Instead of getting out and adjusting each one individually, you can make quicker adjustments from the cab and fine-tune it. It just makes it easier for us anyway. Hopefully that explains a little bit about it. I'll go over more stuff in depth. I just kind of wanted to give a quick run over of kind of how planters work, because I don't want to miss out on anybody here. So hopefully that explains it. Each one of these rows are monitored from inside the cab with a monitor. We'll kind of look at that later on in planting season. I don't want to do one video for planting, but no, I'm excited about it, guys, and hopefully we can get some acres in this week of beans, or this video will be strung out over a few days. Let's get rolling here. How about it, huh? Plant 22, go. Got a sheet here. See what seed I need. Actually need to put that one on first since he's gonna go on the front. Go check some seed depth here. So we're kind of cresting a hill here. This is kind of one of the harder spots we would face, but we did strip till it. Over here is where no till is, and the issue we're having is just inconsistencies. So running that strip tiller just kind of made it a little bit more easy and flexible. Hopefully you can hear me here. Let's check this out. So again, I got my concrete trowel. It allows me to kind of scrape this way or this way. This year my goal is a little bit over 2 inches here. 2 1/4. Sometimes finding that first seed kind of stinks. Oh. Kind of right there, maybe. Oh, where are we here? I think that's where we want to be. Just a hair over 2, maybe. That one was kind of hard to tell. Let's see if we can find another one. Oh, thought I saw one. It's a little harder to tell because that top is just fluff. Oop. So the idea is to get it at least, you know, 1 3/4 inches deep, because you want to have adequate soil above the corn, because I kicked one out. Too shallow and it kind of affects all your brace roots that'll come later in the season. You don't want to get it too deep that it sprouts underneath the ground as it's starting to grow. So there's kind of a fine line you want to balance there. So we shoot for, you know, last year I was kind of 2 inches. This year might be a little deeper, just because this year we got so much of this loose fluff on top that it might be better to have a little bit like a 1/4 inch deeper. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's 2 1/4. So we'll call that good. Let's get to going again here. Brother Tom running the strip tiller over there. He's making sure it's set right. going through the hills. I have to say that Hawkins Vertistrip is doing it what we need to right now. It's coming in handy. So I was talking to my brother on which field we're gonna go to next here. This is our big 300 acre field. I got about 20 acres left before it gets dark. We will be, the fields that we thought we might go to next are still needed probably another pass of water to go on them. So we're gonna move north to some other fields that might be a little bit better that we can no-till. This one just had a little more water on it because it had pig effluent put on it, and so it made it a little more mellower when we strip tilled it. And when he went over to try strip tilling the other ones, it was just too dry and it was on bean stubble. And so our hope is when we put that extra water on it, it'll kind of mellow that out and maybe we'll be able to no-till those. So this is an interesting spring, to say the least, with these super dry conditions. We're always communicating with our agronomist and neighbors just to see what's working, what's not working, which a lot is not working, and because we have some pretty spectacular planters right now. It's just these are kind of unheard of conditions. Hey guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next one.